You're listening to Slasher Radio.
They're super fun. And one of the things in the past that prevented us from doing these kind of things is that we never wanted to separate our community, right? Mostly out of a careful taking care of our matchmaking, right? Because if you split the community, then the matchmaking becomes a little harder on both sides, which we actually saw some people react to the 2v8 queues that were slightly longer than what they're used to in the regular game, and that's inevitable. But now we see that it's absolutely okay to have a different game mode and to have people split into, because there's so many players every day. I think we're safe in that, and so there will be more. There will be more.
Okay, and game modes. A bit. Our other co-host Rob, he said because he been scheduling, he can never make these. Probably fortunately, and he said, "Oh, you better ask him about 2v8." I'm like, "Well, no shit." He loves 2v8 like so many people, myself included. It is the most fun I've had on the game, and that's saying something. You guys the metrics on it too were crazy because it's like the second highest ever played. What was it like dealing with all that?
It was thrilling,
and the
right?
feedback.
That's the whole point. That's why we did this. So we're just happy that people really got excited about it and enjoyed it as much as we hoped they would. So yeah, I think that probably the fact that it was a limited time event plays to that, because people don't want to miss out, so they all play at the same time. But even then, I think it shows that these kind of game modes, these kind of activities are extremely appreciated by the players, and that's why we'll just do more.
Yeah, and there's kind of a thing now. Do you look at the game modes? Because everybody always said, oh, well, what's the next license going to be for Dead by Daylight to bring new players in? But now it looks like, certain game modes are able to do that in themselves. And is that something that you guys are looking at going forward as being as big as your licenses? Because I think a different game mode brings players in all the same, if not more.
Sure. I mean, it's different tools. If you're looking at it just on the side of like player re-engagement or returning lapsed players and all this, these kind of things can be similar in the effect they have, but they're so different in nature that I think it's sort of a bit of a trap to try to compare them on that front. Like, obviously we want to do things all the time that keeps people interested, that keep people to pay attention, that say, hey, you've been playing Dead by Daylight for 5 years, why would you still play today? Or you haven't played in 2 years, why would you come back now, right? These are always going to be concerns, but at least for me, and everybody has their own expertise in the company, and there's a bunch of people that talk all the time about what we should do next. For me, it's about what would be fun to do. And maybe I'm an eternal optimist and a little naive in my approach, but I just want to do stuff that's fun for the game, right? So new licenses, if they make sense and they would be awesome, bring them in. If it's a new game mode that's super exciting, if it's a collaboration for I don't know, outfits or something, sure. If it makes sense, let's bring it in and have a good time with this. Right?
Yeah. And now we have 3 new killers also coming into 2v8. I'm so excited.
Yeah, this one it's tough because not all the killer powers, actually, like all the killer powers were built for one thing in mind, right? And you're the only killer on the map, and that's it. And a lot of the powers actually influence the map generation, right? They generate, like for instance, the pig generates these boxes, the puzzle boxes, and the plague has the little fountains. And so you can imagine that the generation system would sort of bug down if you have the rate and the pig and not the rate, but the plague and the pig in the same map, right? These things would generate everywhere. Would there be too many of them? Too few? Like it gets And that's just one example. Like there are so many different killer powers that play with the way the world is perceived, or things like that. So not all of them are an easy transition to the 2v8.